I'm sitting like a fucking grandma. I look like a grandma.
Lean with it, rock with it.
I with my fucking strawberry slippers on right now.
It's okay.
Monochromatic browns.
It's all good. It's your house. It's your house. You want to be comfy in your own home, okay?
I mean, I look like a grandma.
I look like I'm attracted to women, so.
You might be.
At this point, God, if only it was that simple.
I mean,
that's when you know that
have
sexuality.
you ever explored it?
No, that's when you know that sexuality is just not a choice. Because if I could choose to, I would not be attracted to men.
You know, I was watching. Well, maybe edit that part out. I was listening to a podcast.
There you
today.
go.
I'm gonna say it. Have sex with a Scorpio.
I could glue bridge your dad. I'm naked. Hold on.
We will be flicking the beans to that.
But she's tatted and I take meth. Is somebody in your house right now?
But you know what? Fuck your ass.
Yeah, I had sex last night.
You can make your own money. You can literally have your own job of your dreams. You can own your own house. You can own your own car. You can pay all your fucking own bills. So what is that man? That man is sex and a best friend, and that's it.
I heard nothing but the truth. All right, and?
All right, so I was listening to a podcast today as I was driving. And it was the Jeff FM podcast with Jeff Wittick.
Yeah.
And he did one with Nikki Glaser, like,
only
like the past 2 weeks or something. And it was funny because, so he has like his one assistant that's like a commentary also in it. I think his name is Steven. And
oh yeah, that guy from TikTok who's like super awkward.
Just super awkward.
You can't tell if it's a bit or that's just his real personality.
I genuinely think, like, after watching him with like Jeff's stuff, I genuinely think he's just like a nervous person.
Gotcha.
So I think it's like part of it, but then also he plays into it more.
Right.
You know? So anyway, he was on there and he was talking about, he was like, oh, I'm so tired. He kept yawning. And she was like, I mean, be a little respectful. Like, cover your mouth. Like, you just fucking yawned straight in my face. Like, come on, bro. And he was like, I'm sorry. I had like 1 hour of sleep. And they're like, oh, like, I thought you weren't drinking and you went out last night. He's like, well, I didn't drink. He's like, but I had sex. And they were like, you had sex? Like, whatever. And he was like, yeah. He's like, that was the best sex of my life. And she was like, well, how was it? Like, tell me how it was like the best sex of your life.
Right. Like,
and
what made it great?
Yeah. And he was like, well, I didn't have to do any work. And she just rode me. And she was like, okay, explain to me, like, how did she go up and down? He was like, oh, like back and forth. And she was like, okay, so you had sex. Like, you just had basic sex.
Yeah.
And he was like, it was great. Like, he was like mind blown. Wait, just stick with me. And he was like, okay, well, like, did you do anything for her? Like, did, you lick her vagina? Like, what, did you eat her out? Like, all that kind of stuff. He's like, ew, God, no. And
he said, ew?
Yeah, he was like,
Ew.
God. He was like, no. He's like, I don't do that. He's like, that's disgusting. And she was like, well, why? And she was like, it's just like a lot of fluid. There's like a lot of things. Like the texture is just like really weird. I was like, okay, you suck as a man, but also I'm like, I can relate.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reason I wouldn't want to be a lesbian. Like, to me, I feel like the texture would be weird. It would taste kind of funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't.
Yeah.
I was like, kind of got me there. Like, I can't. Like, I think it's bad of you to want to be with women and not want to eat them out.
Yeah.
But also, because like that's like the best part about sex for a woman. Is being eaten out.
Yeah.
Being penetrated, subpar.
Yeah.
It's always mid.
Yeah.
The eating out part, sign me up.
As long as you know what you're doing.
That's what I'm saying.
If
Like,
you don't, stay the fuck away.
stay
the fuck away.
But if it's good, it's good.
Right.
If it hits, it hits.
Yeah.
But he was like, no. And I mean, I can't really go against him for what he was saying. Like, the texture is like freaky to him. And I feel like,
but also that's such a weird thing to say as a fully adult male on a podcast with thousands of listeners.
Yeah.
Like, you're not 15.
Yeah.
Grow
but
up.
I think that he's also very like, he's
inexperienced.
I think he was very sheltered.
Yeah.
Because I honestly think like Jeff and his crew is like really bringing him out of like his like sheltered shell. But when he said that, I was like, that's the reason I actually couldn't be a lesbian. I was like, that's it right there. Like,
yeah.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah. Steven, you're onto something.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I wish I could be gay. Like my
She
life.
said, I am begging you, Jesus.
Dude, my life would be so. I don't know if it's Jesus.
If
who I
there's
need
a
to ask.
higher power out there,
I was about to say,
let
I don't
me
know if
be
it's
gay.
Jesus who I need to ask to be gay, but
Okay.
anybody, universe, because good God, my life would be so much easier if I was not attracted to men. Imagine how much smoother sailing dating would go. You know, you could be friends with the people that you date. You could, I feel like it would be a smoother transition.
I think that there's still give and take, though.
I think so too.
I've
actually heard about some toxic shit in the lesbian
I think that
world.
like the lesbian world just has a whole different thing than we are ever gonna experience.
One of my friends, I was talking to her the other day, and we were talking about like making friends, and it's like hard in your like she's like in her late 20s, and so she's like, it's just like, where do you even meet people, like whatever, which is kind of like what we're gonna get into today, not on the friend side but on the dating side. But she was like saying, she was like, yeah, I downloaded Bumble BFF, and she's bisexual, and she was like, I downloaded Bumble BFF, but I couldn't take that app seriously because I'm just attracted to women. So I was just scrolling. Like I was on a dating app, and I was looking at like how hot they were and like all this stuff. And I was like, you are no better than any man. God damn it. She was like, I know. I'm honestly just as bad as
okay.
the
So
men.
I will say, okay. So like me being on Bumble BFF when
Did
I met
you look? Were you like appearances? Were you like, eh?
I mean, okay, but I feel like so it was weird. I felt weird at first because I'm not a lesbian.
Yeah.
I've never been. I mean, I think that women are beautiful, and I think that there are some very attractive women, but like I'm not like wanting to be
intimate with them.
Yeah, like it doesn't go further than like the attraction, I guess you could say, right? So I felt weird because I was like, I've never been on a dating app looking at women.
Yeah.
And like that's not my like
The
thing.
only time I ever did was when we created that fake Tinder account.
Oh, for the guys.
For that guy when we made that video, and it was like a bit or whatever, and we were like scrolling, and I was like, oh, so this is what the girls look like on like dating apps, like on the girls' side. And then at the same time, like as we were doing that, I was like,
I feel weird.
Yeah, I felt like dirty.
Yes.
I was like, no.
Yeah, that's how I felt about Bumble BFF.
I don't want to see like all of that.
I mean, you definitely start judging them off of like appearance and stuff, because also like it's sad to say, but almost unless it's like situational, are you not gonna like be friends with someone who also like kind of looks probably similar to you? And like that's shitty to say, but it's just true. Like and like if you're
also I feel like the way you present yourself at this point in life, you can kind of catch a vibe of like
that's kind of what I'm saying.
What
like
you're into.
Like your vibe, your style, like, and that's you're gonna judge off that because it's also like that's what I am into. So like why would I?
I mean, it makes sense. It's like when I see like a cool girl out in public, I'm like, dude, I want to be her friend.
Right.
Like, she just seems cool as fuck.
Right. And so it's kind of like,
Or I'm scared of her. I'm like, I don't want to be her friend because like she intimidates the fuck out of me.
Right. But other than that, like if you wouldn't have that same vibe as me, it's gonna be situational. Like I met you at work. Yeah. Through other mutual people.
You're ugly, but we can still be friends.
But like we still kicking it. That's not what I meant. That is not what I meant.
Now that I know you're cool, I guess we can be friends, but you're still ugly as fuck.
No, but like, okay, but think about that in like in almost every scenario of your life. Like I look at like a lot of people in my life, and it's like, damn, if I didn't do this, or I didn't work here, or I wasn't on this team, like we would have never been friends.
Right.
Like honestly, I look at my sister and I'm like, I would never be friends with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like
keeping it a buck, you're weird, and we just don't vibe outside of the fact we're related.
Like the fact that we are related, like makes us have similarities, but genuinely outside of that, I would probably think
that's
she's a
like
bitch.
Me and my brothers. Like I would never just be like, we would never run in the same circle.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like it's not in like a mean way. Like, my sister's hot.
Yeah.
The fuck? Like, but it's just situational.
Common. Yeah.
That's why we're here. We are friends because we are sisters.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like goes, I think, for like other family members too.
Yeah.
Like cousins, and then like, I don't know, you're in school and it's just like, well, we're friends because we're in high school together.
Right. Yeah.
We're friends because we're in the same sorority.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And I guess it kind of like also goes for like dating. Like that's how you kind of like find people.
Yeah.
So that's a great transition into our topic for today.
Not anything that we talked about before. No. We're here now though. Yeah, this week we're kind of talking about like, I think we're both in a place in life where we're like content being single, but I think that there's a lot of people who are our age who are still like either wanting to have like a more serious monogamous relationship, or even just like wanting to date, but like
I feel like
where do you even start?
And I think that's also the thing for us.
Right. It's like we're single because we're okay being single, but also like we're single because where do you meet people?
And it's like outside of dating apps. So this is like something that actually Emma and I were talking about as we were brewing up this idea for this episode, is like outside of sex. Because right, like dating apps are solely a sex place at this point. And especially at our age.
Yeah. And I mean, we've talked about this in the past where like, you know, our perspectives on sex are like slightly different just because of like whatever. And like for me, I kind of went through like, I feel like everybody's gone through like a quote hoe phase, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just did that. You know what? I was kind of like, you know, when people are like super seniors and they're still in high school, you're like, aren't you 19? You're still here. That was me with my hoe phase. It was like, I did the victory lap and then I did ×2. So like most people in their hoe phase, like after college, I extended mine a bit. I was still in grad school. So I was like, I'm still going to hoe it up.
But as you should, because
you know?
I mean, honestly, I feel like had I gone to grad school, I probably would have done the same.
Yeah. It's like you kind of still have that like mentality, that like student mentality where you're just like, okay, I'm not really a real adult yet, even though I had a real job and was also in school. It was like,
but like real life wasn't really hitting because to be fair, Daddy was still helping me pay.
Right, exactly.
Because I'm still in school.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so it was just like one of those things where it was just like, I still felt like young and crazy. Yeah, you know what I mean? And so like I prolonged the hoe phase. And
I did not.
And exactly. And so I think that's why at the time I was just like, sex is really meaningless to me because I was also just like in that mentality. But now I'm in a point where it's like, okay, the real world just came like fucking crashing in. And I'm like, okay, I don't have time to do that. To like, also, now that I'm not drinking, I'm not going out and doing that.
I've actually seen a lot recently too about like how awkward it is when you are sober to like go up to people at bars and like approach people and not even just like for sex, just like to approach people because like I'm sober. Like
no, and like the way I was so bold, like every time I went out, I even would go out by myself. Like that's how much I like did not give a fuck when I was in this like, and it really is like a state of mind too. Like when you have that like mentality of like, I don't know. I've even talked about this on the blog, bitch. What is this? 2012, the vlog recently, where it's like I haven't just been feeling like hot, but when I was in that like hoe phase, I felt fucking sexy. Like I would walk into a bar and be like, I'm the hottest girl in here. Like, and that confidence kind of just like fell out and went into the situations and gave me that like confidence to just like approach people and like whatever. But now that I'm like sober and not fucking around, the way I would be so terrified to even just like approach somebody, to just not even in a sexual way, even just like conversate, like let's just chit chat.
Not that this isn't funny because it's not like the word I'm trying to say, but like when we first met, like you were in that hoe phase and I was where you are now. Yeah. And like, so I completely understand like where your state of mind is, where at that time when I was like explaining this to you, you were like, I don't understand. Right. Like legit, she was like, you're like, I mean, I have another friend who's like kind of like this, but like I personally can't understand. So now it's like interesting that like you're like, oh.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it had to do with alcohol. Like if I'm being completely honest, it was like that was a big
yes and
crutch.
No. I think yes and no.
Right. Well, I think honestly a lot of those situations wouldn't have happened without alcohol. Yeah. So that's kind of why I say alcohol had a lot to do with it, because like most of them were just like drunk hookups. You know what I mean? But now getting back to the point that we were starting earlier, like I don't have this desire to just like have sex with sounds really like douchey, but like just meaningless sex with randos anymore. No. So like when it comes to like having a partner or like being like intimate with somebody, like you said before and in previous episodes, like I want that like deeper connection to be there, but like I'm not ever getting to those connections because it's like I don't know how to meet people.
Right. And for me too, like when I say a deep connection, we don't have to be like madly in love with each other, but it's more than like you're not just gonna fucking
how
leave.
You doing? Like
like here we go, let's switch genitals.
What was your name? What's your name again?
Like Ethan. Oh, you're Ryan. Wrong number. Sorry.
That was last weekend.
Like got them mixed up. Like the fuck. I mean, like, we've all been there for that too, but it's like, I mean, it's more that I want you to be able to come into my life and know that like
And not just come into me.
Yeah. That's poetic. That was so poetic. Fuck.
Sorry, Mom.
No, but it's true.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like, I also want to know, like, if we are, that it's like, it can still be a casual thing, but we're like casual with each other.
Right, exactly. Like,
It's
I care about you on some level.
Yeah.
Like, and if you like drop dead, I would be a little upset about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like that I know that it's not just like you're not just using me to masturbate.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what I mean by like a deeper connection. Like I want to know that it's like maybe we could go on a date if we want to, or like we're casual with each other. But anyway, regardless. So this whole episode, we actually don't really want to hone in on sex. I think that's why we try to like get it out of the way now.
Yeah.
In being like, where do you meet people? Where do you meet people? How do you like get that deeper connection?
Yeah.
And where do you go from there when you don't just want to have sex right off the bat?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that like sex right off the bat has been working.
No. Clearly, yeah, I was about to say, like, clearly, like, hookup culture has proven time and time again to, like, not pay off in the end.
Exactly. So it's like, how do you navigate around that in this, like, post-COVID world? And I hate to say that, but it's just true. Because a lot of the places in which, like, once you get out of college and you're not in, like, a forced, like, community area, you can be friends with anybody.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so many, like, oh, me and not my best friend being a 63-year-old like grandmother, but it's true because that's just how it is. But now, like post COVID, like people are so hybrid. People are still working from home. I mean, places don't have like COVID mandates or anything like that really anymore. But it's like that whole like, oh, we can do a lot of things at home and we don't have to go out and be around people and socialize in order to be productive. Is like our new world.
Yeah, it's very like, I feel like, especially in the US, and I think this is very kind of like unique to an American mentality, is this like independent mentality, which a lot of other places in the world and like a lot of people who I've met who are not from the United States, it's always kind of like a culture shock, is like this, I am all that I need and I will do what I need for myself, and like, you know, an independent whatever. And like even it's just like going as far as to being like okay with like living alone or going to dinner alone and going to go, like, personally I go to the movies by myself all the time. Like that's not a weird thing for me, but like a lot of people are like, oh, that's strange. But it's just like we're so comfortable being alone, and I think COVID really like pushed that on us. Like we had to be, because if not we would go crazy, you know what I mean? And it also gave us this like dependency on like social media for our social interactions.
No, exactly. Like, and it's so sad, but I think like even but also like very much so after, I have a lot of like friendships or whatever that just like literally still revolve around one, COVID things that we used to watch and whatever.
Yeah.
And two, just memes.
Yeah.
Just sending TikToks, just sending reels on Instagram.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it's weird because like you and I actually don't really do it often. Like we send each other TikToks here and there, but it's like outside of that, it's like when I sent you a reel the other day, I was like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
I gotta scroll for this bitch. Like that's
but then
so
what's
weird.
funny is like I have other friends who's like that's our entire communication style.
That's your entire friendship.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, to your point, like we use social media legit as our social time.
And also like we've gotten so good about like using social media as a way to like almost form like fake relationships with people who like don't know you exist.
Yes.
So I think that's another like unique thing about social media that makes you feel less lonely, I guess, is like you watch people's vlogs or you watch people's like get ready with me's or whatever, and you feel like you know that person. And so it's like you said, it's like that's enough social interaction for you for the day to where you're like not craving that. Where it's like before, like I just remember in college, like I have never had FOMO before. That was never something I had ever really experienced because like I truly like, I'm just not like a jealous kind of person with friendships, with relationships, with whatever. So I never felt that. But I did feel like after like a certain amount of time of being alone, I was like, I need to be around people.
Yeah.
Like I need to go like have a group outing or do something with a group of people, where it's like now I don't really ever feel that way.
Yeah.
And like I don't think that's a good thing. Like I think it's normal to want to like hang out with people and to like do things with people. But like even in last week's vlog, which was this week's vlog, I guess technically, I talked about like dreading going to get dinner with a friend because I was just like, I just want to be alone. I'm so tired. What I had done the past 4 days before that was be alone. And I was like, I have to go be social with one person.
Yeah.
Like that's just such a crazy like thing.
But also like it was interesting because of just editing it and it coming out like and everything, seeing your like change of emotion in the end. You're like, I'm so happy I did it. It wasn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
Like, I think the anxiety of being social now is so heightened. Yes. So like whether that's a friend or a relationship. I was about to say, so
like even it's just like that was with somebody who I have known and have known for a while. So like then put that into somebody who like you've just met offline, who like you're trying to go on a date with. Like I think that's another reason why a lot of relationships don't ever leave the app is because of that like anxiety behind like as women, it's like a scary thing to meet a fucking stranger.
And it's almost like for validation. Like if I'm on the apps, which like I'm not, but like if I were, it's a validation thing.
Which, okay, I'm going to be completely honest. Like I reopened up Hinge because like I like to do it every once in a while. See what's out there. You know, I like to go see the alums. Who's still rocking it? You know what I mean?
Facts. Are you back in the circle?
Yeah.
Like,
and what's so funny is like I judge them so hard because I'm like, dude, you've been on here for 3 years now, and then it's like, wait, so have you, bitch?
Like look, but you're back around as well.
Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror, hun. Your prompts are the same thing. They've updated the app 7 times since you've been on. And you haven't changed anything. They have polls on there now. You can like make polls.
Yeah, you can.
Anyway, so I was on there. I don't even get validation on that anymore because the people who like me, it almost is the opposite effect because I'm like, wait, is this who I'm pulling?
Is this the caliber? Is this the caliber?
Wait a second.
Right.
I'm like, no, and it almost makes me feel worse about myself. Right. So like, I don't even get validation from that anymore.
Right. And yeah, it's like, okay, now for us, and I think like as you get older too, like, I mean, maybe it's just us and like the trajectory of like things that we're trying to do, and like maybe we're really like out of touch with that, like being 25 and like going out and still getting shit faced on the weekends with friends, like maybe like we're very out of touch with that, and I know we are. But like
maybe it's a touch of the alcoholism in me and like the recently sober, but I see people doing that and I'm just like, God, that just looks so horrible because I know I would have to be like, sober doing it. So I'm like, I could not.
Yeah, honestly, like the past 2 times I had like more than 2 drinks, I was like way too hungover, and I'm like, that ain't it. That's not it. But anyway, okay, getting back on track. Like, yeah, to like go up to a bar and meet somebody. I feel like that's like the only other option, right? So like right now, like you're working hybrid. You're not really working in an office. You're not in an environment where like you can do that. We are out of school.
Yeah.
So you're not going to really meet people that way. The only other option then is out at the bar, because what, again, like we were talking about this, like you were like, oh, there's like different like groups, but like group 3 would be like in your social sector, and like, that's going out. Like, what is that outside of going out in order to meet people?
It is really crazy. And like I was talking to God, I've talked to a lot of people about this though, and it's like me becoming sober recently has made me realize it even more, that like there is really no like third space that exists that doesn't involve like alcohol or consumption of some sort, whether it's food, whether it's drinking. Like it's really weird. And I was talking to one of my friends about this, and we were talking about like, you know, back in the day, people would go to like roller rinks, or they would go to like bowling alleys, or they would have like nights where like places would host like date party kind of things where you could like meet other single people your age, and like that was normal. That shit does not exist anymore.
I feel like they should bring that back.
I know. And actually I saw this thing on TikTok, and it's this company that does these random dates, and you basically put your phone number into this thing, and they send you a text the day of, and they're like, meet at this place, and you just show up, and they filter it perfectly, so there's a even enough, or there's a perfect amount of like couple ratio, so like you can couple up if you want, like nobody's gonna be left out, or you don't have to, but you just meet up at this first spot. And that's it. Like they don't give you anything else besides that. And then you show up, and the whole thing is like a produced date night. And they take you along to all these different places throughout the night.
That is kind of cool.
But there's no actual person there running it. Like, it's all run through the app. So, like, you're just genuinely meeting all these other random people who also don't know each other. Because you don't get anybody's contact before. You just all show up. And so it's like...
I feel like we should try it.
It's so cool. I don't know if they have one here, but I saw this. It was, like, in LA that they were doing it. And, like, these people, like, had such a good time. But back to what I was saying earlier... You start at a restaurant, you go to a bar, then they ended up going to another bar
or place to drink.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, this is a great idea, but like we need to like introduce a new thing.
Genuinely, and that's how I feel about Nashville. And I just don't, I think that like it isn't just Nashville. And that's why I'm like, okay, where do I go from Nashville, right? And I'm like, all that is eating and drinking.
Right.
So if you're not going to go out and eat and you're not going to go out and drink, what is there to do?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because like even going to like a painting class,
why is it involving wine? Like that's so crazy.
Right. Like going bowling.
Yeah.
You're going to get a drink. I mean, I feel like there it's like not as bad if you don't. But
yeah,
like,
you're not like being like judged or whatever.
Yeah, but like still, I don't feel like there's enough places. Like there's actually I think it's in West Nashville, and they have like a curling. It's like I forget what is it called? T-Lane. T-Lane
something. Yeah.
And like the whole thing is like
we're doing our Christmas party there actually for work.
Honestly, I think it looks so cool, and I've been dying to go. But you have to get reservations. Fucking stupid. I've been dying to go though. But like their whole thing is like, don't worry, we got drinks here, like food, drinks, like it's like all in one.
Yeah.
Like, going axe throwing, such a cool thing. Drinks.
Yeah. Well, it's even like Pins Mechanical by my old place, which is like a arcade. It's like basically
like
an adult
vintage,
arcade with duck pin bowling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a giant bar.
But like, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
But it is involved with drinking. Like, and so to that point, it's like, yeah, unless you're going out to the bar. And I think that there's like things like you could go do that.
Yeah.
We could go out to Pins one night and just go have fun and not have to drink.
Yeah.
But it's like, because everybody else around is.
It's hard.
And it's like.
Yeah, it's hard. So, yeah, basically we were talking about like there's 3 spaces in everybody's life. And it's like, one is your house. That's your first space. Your second space is your job. So if you're commuting to your work, at least you got a place there. If you're not, that second space is also your house, which fucking sucks because you have nowhere else to go. And then the third space would be like a space that exists in the world that you go to meet other people. And a lot of that, for me personally, that even doesn't really exist because I work out at my gym at home, or I go on runs, which is a thing you do by yourself outside. Or if it's a hobby kind of thing, I've gotten so good about like creating hobbies and stuff for myself that are at home. So now all 3 of those spaces are just my house. And so it's like, I don't know where to meet people. And we were talking about this earlier, like you can go to like a coffee shop or whatever, but that in and of itself is a very secluded recluse space. Like nobody wants to be approached when you're at a coffee shop.
Right.
Like you don't go there to socialize.
Right. And if you are, it's like because you're already going with the group.
Yeah.
Or like have become a regular.
Yeah.
And you've been going there for 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And now you've like kikied with the barista.
But yeah, you're
like,
not talking to the patrons.
Yeah, unless like the patron, unless there's like also a patron that also seems to be going there at the same time all the time, whatever. That's literally it. I mean, and then to me, like my only other social thing is going to the gym. And like I also purposely wanted to go to a gym so I had that like outlet because my job already, without it being like a hybrid thing or anything like that, is already very like secluded to myself, and I'm a very extroverted person, so it's just like I need to have an outlet of other people. But like now that my only friend there isn't there, it's not as fun. And like don't get me wrong, and like also just like everything with my shoulder, it's just like not the place that like it was for me a year ago. I still enjoy it, and there's still other people there to talk to, but like it's just not the same like social outing.
And I think it's also like since you've been there so long, it's like not a place that like you're meeting people to date.
No, because also I've known these people for now like a year.
Right.
Or 2 years, honestly. And to be fair, those boys are very shy. So like to talk to them, they're literally afraid.
Yeah.
And then the hottest one there, the 2 hottest boys there have girlfriends.
Yeah. So you're like, well, that was the whole point of my membership.
Right, literally,
So,
like, well,
fuck.
thank God I'm spending over $100 for this bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and like, so yeah, it's like hard. And now, like, too, if you've watched the vlogs, you know that I just got a serving job, and like, which is like nice, honestly. Like, it is nice to like meet other people, and like, also we're all from different areas in our lives. Like, there's college kids there's out of school kids, there's like people in their 30s just like as like a part-time job. Like, there's like everything that you could think of is like there. And there's male servers there, which is cool. I don't know how to put this lightly. 85% of them are gay, and then the other ones are dorks.
Well, yeah.
Like,
Tough.
which, and like, they're cool. Like, honestly, every person is really cool and like whatever, but it's like, okay, well, if 85% of you are gay, what are we gonna do, bump pussies? Like, we can't. Like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, that like extra thing that I was like gonna do to like have like, I don't know, maybe Emily and I can get some friends out of it and have like a group just to like go hang out with and do whatever with.
Yeah.
But like outside of that, like, the boys picking is slim.
Yeah, exactly.
So then like, yeah, what does that leave you?
I don't know.
For people who don't want to just get fucked and go to the bar.
And that's why I think a lot of people right now are content with being single, because the effort that is involved in like actually going out and finding and pursuing people in like a serious,
organic way.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's too fucking hard. And I think that is also like a thing that a lot of people like, you don't think about when you're younger, because your parents, like, everybody's parents met organically. Like, whether it was in high school sweethearts or whether it was like at their job, college, or whatever, like, none of their parents met online. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just not a thing. So I feel like in our heads, we're like, it shouldn't be that hard. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
And actually, I was talking to one of my like customers today, and she was saying how like, she's like, I don't envy like you in your dating world. And I said, yeah, but like, I don't envy you. I said, because I said, it goes both ways. Like, I said, yes, I hate the fact that there's like social media and like the access of cheating and like all these other things are just so much more prevalent and it's so much more mainstream than when you were trying to find your husband. I said, but at the end of the day, like, you also have things that like I just wouldn't deal with like my husband. She's like, well, like, my husband like makes me cook every night for dinner. I said, and I would tell him to make a peanut butter and jelly. Yeah. Like, I'm making this chicken, and
kick
if you
rocks, bitch.
Yeah, like, and if you don't like it, you don't
starve.
like it. I think that our generation is also different in other ways, where like, and women are advocating for themselves in a relationship.
And I think I don't want to say like we've seen what's out there, but we have. Like, we've been able to see, you know, people who you wouldn't see in your normal life. Like, and you're able to like your dating pool is so much larger because of social media and because of dating apps, that like almost now, like, also my standard for like everything is higher. I think like, too, I'm not gonna put up with like shit, because like I see what's out there and I see how certain relationships are, whether it's real or not. I'm not gonna put up with it.
To that point, like, even to find somebody, like, we see every single possible relationship, high and low, at the broadest spectrum. Like, literally, and that's the hardest thing too, I think, is seeing so much relationship stuff on Instagram and TikTok and whatever, and it being like a very like negative thing.
Oh my God.
And it's so negative. And because I haven't been using my TikTok like that, that's all the content is when I go on there. So I just like can't be on there, because it's like, it literally is like skewing my like, it's like, he cheated, he sucks, he's this, he's that. And it's like, okay, yes, men suck. Also women suck too. And like, at the end of the day, you know what? Like, we're still humans. And if you want to be in a relationship, like, this isn't necessarily sound advice. Yeah. And I think that people are taking it as Bible. And then it's like,
also, it's a lot of single people giving relationship advice.
Yes.
Like,
I mean, who are we? But like, also, we're trying to like be like, the whole point of this also podcast too is we're just posing the question. Yeah. Where? Because we don't have an answer for you. Like, we have silly answers, but we don't have an answer. Yeah. And it's just, it's very frustrating, I think, to date right now in this like climate.
But my thing is too, okay, so, and this is kind of like playing devil's advocate here, but like, it's frustrating now. Okay. it's going to be the same fucking story 5 years down the road, 10 years down
Right.
the road, 15
And I
years
feel
down
like
the
it's
road.
only going to be harder
So,
when you're 30, 35,
what
40.
I'm thinking now is like, I'm so okay with being single right now because I'm like, this is too hard to not, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think my mindset's going to really change in 5 years when it's like, I'm quote, more ready for like, I feel like if anything, it's going to do the opposite. Cause I'm like, oh, I've been single. Like I've been doing this shit.
Okay. So this is how I feel. Like, you know how in the beginning we talked about like the whole, like I was in my fuck man era when I met you and I was like, I'm not fucking men. I fuck this. I want deeper connection.
I mean, I was still like, I don't like men, but I was just,
but it was still a different perspective.
Yeah.
And now you're where I was then. And now I'm coming out of it being like, not that I feel like I have a more like softer perspective than how hard I was being like, fuck all of them, they all fucking suck. I'm not like, ooh, I love men, like, give me all your dicks, but like I'm more just like, like, you know what I mean? Like I don't have like a big opinion towards you. I don't feel like one way or the other right now. I'm just like, so maybe you just need your time to be like, fuck all of this, fuck all of you, and then on the other side maybe you might come to a point where you're like, and you're still not looking. You're still not wanting necessarily.
But like
but I think you might be more open.
I mean, the thing is, it's not that I'm closed off. It's like I simply don't care. And like,
oh no, but I would simply did not care for like 5 years.
Yeah, like I just don't know if like, you know, like even me being like, okay, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm not.
Where are the bitches? Like I don't think like. But even when I do feel like that, if I'm like, yes, I'm ready. What the fuck do I do?
No, I agree. No, because I'm not sitting here being like, oh, I'm ready.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like a lot of people who end up in relationships from dating apps, it's because like they were like, they really wanted a relationship. And I don't think I've ever been on a dating app looking for a relationship.
Okay.
And I think that's a different in mentality. You know what I mean? It's like you go in there like having a goal. Your goal is to have a boyfriend, okay? I've never used a dating app for that. And I think that's why they all fail. Because even, I mean, I want to blame the men being like, oh, I just want to hook up and whatever. But honestly, like I was the same mentality. Not that I wanted to hook up with them, but that I was like, I'm never going to date anybody on here because it's a dating app.
Yeah.
So I think maybe if I reach a point where I take it seriously and I like try.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would ever get that way because in my head I'm like, it's a dating app.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it has to be on a dating app. I'm just saying like in life, like I don't know, like legit, we don't know where life is gonna take us. You and I have an idea. But we don't fucking know.
I mean, we gotta hope.
Listen, we are riding
all we have is hope at this point.
We are manifesting,
and the hope is it's small, it's teeny, but it's there.
But it's still there. We're still fucking doing our thing. And that's all that matters. Consistency.
Yeah.
But like, you literally don't know. Like, who knows? Like, we could literally, again, this is the hope coming out. Maybe we're at a photo shoot one day.
Yeah.
And there's some cool, like, Filipino boy that you're like, oh, you're silly. You got swag. I'm into you.
Okay.
And maybe the fire comes back.
Oh,
I was really just trying to describe Cody Ko's assistant.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Maybe you come across, like, we're at a photo shoot and he's just like,
I think
he's the camera boy.
I think if I came across Matt in real life, which is Cody Ko's friend who he, like, tells people is his assistant.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's like my type to a T. I think if I came across him in real life, that would be so intentional. And I would have had to put in months of work to make this accidental encounter happen. You know what I mean?
Okay, but I'm not necessarily, I'm not like actually
But I'm saying if it was him, that would be fucking, like, that would be like.
That would be stalker material. At
no,
this point.
if that happened, like, you would know I would putting in work.
No.
But I would make it seem like, this Chancery, how did this?
Oh my God,
what's
your
name? In real life, you like go through my phone and it's like my search history
and I'm
is just like,
oh,
Emily.
you made an umbrella urinal.
Yeah,
and
this is like Joe 2.0 from you.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I really think that is when it's gonna happen. I'm not saying for everybody, but I feel like for you, like, and that's the hope I have for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like you're at a time, right place, right time.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that, like, that happening and like that, like, seeing through to the thing is like it comes back to that like mentality where it's like right now I would be scared to make anything happen from that, you know, because of COVID and because of this like like I'll see like attractive people in public and like, you know, we'll have little convos or whatever, whether I'm like waiting in line to check out or whatever. But in my head, I'm never like,
we're gonna do.
I'm gonna exchange numbers with you.
No.
And then afterwards, I'm like, why the fuck didn't I like
try?
You know?
Yeah, no,
I think it's like the fear, like also like the fear of rejection, because also like I feel like every hot guy has a girlfriend, so I never want to be
especially in this town,
dude. I never want to be like shoot my shot and then like I actually have a girlfriend, then I'm like, fuck.
Well, you're really hot. Have a nice day.
Yeah, and then it's like we're still in the same line. Oh man,
I'm just trying to get my Starbucks.
Yeah,
maybe a croissant.
That was really awkward.
Or does that make me look like a fatty?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, no croissant for you? Okay, just getting the refresher.
Yeah, just like, oh god, that was so embarrassing. I think that's also a fear too.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, fuck yeah, I agree. Like what? Like no, and it's just, yeah. Anyway. That's really all we had to say. We were just like, I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, where do you fucking meet people?
Yeah. And
like
so
now,
honestly,
now that like my friend has gone at the gym, I've been thinking like, oh, this was my place to meet people.
Yeah.
So now what? And then like starting the new job, and then I was like, oh, now what?
I know.
And I like said something to Emily, and we like kind of like got to this point of being like,
yeah.
right. Now what? Like once you're like out of that organized setting, what do you...
It was funny. I ran my half marathon last weekend, and while I was there, so the weirdest part about the whole situation, not to divulge from the convo, but like I did it all alone. So I got there in the morning by myself. I started the race alone. I did the whole thing by myself. I didn't know anybody there.
Sorry, my therapist just blew my phone up.
I wish mine would. Still waiting on my prescription, and don't.
Oh, I missed her call. Anyway.
Were you supposed to have an appointment?
Tomorrow.
Oh.
And
she's probably canceling.
Yeah, she can't, and she feels really bad. That was nice of her.
Oh.
Sorry, I just got distracted because my butt was like...
You're good. Mine just showed up to the call in her bed and then canceled it after I'd already paid $100. So, and now I can't get a hold of them.
We love it.
And I don't have my meds. So... Anyways, so I was at this run, and I did it alone. I've been doing the whole thing alone, and I'm at this run, and I'm like looking around, and there's like groups of guys who are like with their friends, and they're like attractive dudes.
Yes, there were a lot of attractive guys.
I'm like, we have the same hobby right now. We're literally at the same fucking place.
Yeah.
Like, this is prime opportunity, and I'm just like, okay. And I just, you know what I mean? Like
start running now.
But that's the thing. It's like, even in these situations where it's just like optimal, I'm still like, it's almost like I feel like I'm bothering people. Like, I'm like, I don't want to bother you.
Yes.
It's like it's like.
Because it's outside of what also we know. And like, we're not at a bar.
Yeah.
So I'm bothering you in your natural life.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel like the difference when you like meet people organically in real life, it's like, it's almost like you have to accidentally start talking to each other.
Yes.
Because if one of you approaches the other one, like specifically for me, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, leave me alone. Like, you're being weird. And I don't want to be like that to these people. And it's like,
but I also think that maybe it isn't always like that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't always have to be like, oh, you're being fucking weird. But I think that's also like my nature too, is also to be like,
why are you talking to me?
And I'm saying that as in like preaching to myself. Like, it doesn't always have to be like that. Like, maybe they are just being genuine and they aren't trying to be creepy.
Yeah.
But like, honestly, unless you're not fucking a 10, I'm like, oh, you're being weird. And that's so sad to say. But the problem is they're probably not the ones being weird.
I think the last time I got hit on, and this is so sad. The last time I got hit on in real life, because on my fucking TikTok, I either get roasted for my appearance or people hit on me, and both of the types of people who compliment me and who diss me are ugly. So it's like, it's a losing battle on both ends. Like, you know what I mean? Hot people are never telling me I'm ugly, but hot people are also never telling me I'm hot. So it's like, god damn it. But anyways, the last time I think I got hit on in person was when I went to the movie theaters by myself, and it was the ticket stamper, and he was like maybe 17, and he had braces, and like, it was like, oh, okay, yep, okay. And he's like, are you going to see the movie with anybody? Like, no riz. He had no riz. He was like, oh, are you going to see this movie with anyone? And I'm like, clearly by myself, handing him my ticket. Like, no. And he was like, oh, so, and I was like, okay, bye.
You should have been like, yeah, my boyfriend's coming. Honestly, I'd be doing that. Listen.
I never do, but then afterwards, I'm like, I should have just lied.
I say lying because I'm afraid.
I am too. I'm literally terrified of men, but I always just like in the moment, I'm like, I never think to say that.
I always have a boyfriend. Always. I don't care where I am in my life. I don't care what stage I am in my life. I always have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he's just not here right now.
Yeah.
But I can call him.
My first instinct is to tell people I'm gay. And that never works.
No, because the way I have a boyfriend, but then also like right now in my life, I'm calling Zach. Because I'm going to be like,
yeah,
hey. And then they hear a man actually speaking.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I never do that.
No.
I never think to do that. Or I say, I have a gun.
Oh.
I go straight past the boyfriend. I'm like, I have a gun in my pocket right now. And I'm like wearing like leggings. They're like,
you're like, it's there. I promise.
You don't, it's so small.
It's right there.
Jesus Christ, I'll just whip
It's a little
this shit
pistol.
out. Yeah.
It's a pistol. The fuck?
No. Okay, if you had to pick, like 3 places that are like the best places to meet a man, what would you say?
Number 1 would have to be my gynecologist. Yeah, I mean, like
the waiting room or the gyno himself.
No, well, at least I know he'd be making money if he was my gyno. But probably like the waiting room.
I feel like the waiting room.
Take the men that are in there with their women.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's ideal. I would also say, the gas station attendant for the bathroom. So the guy who gives you the key for the bathroom.
Oh, not even like a nice bathroom where they just like let you in, like the gas stations.
Oh, the ones that are like locked up
with like the whole brick on the key, and then have like 70 like toilet paper rolls just, like, in the corner, and they haven't washed it since 2001.
Yup.
Honestly,
the guy and like as he must also sell alcohol and cigarettes to minors. That's
he probably has like bongs and stuff on there too.
Yep.
He's got a lot of pieces, a lot of glassware.
Yes.
I'm the visual.
Maybe a vape shop owner.
Wow. I mean, at least he's the owner, right? I mean, I feel like that's credit.
Entrepreneur.
That's hey, he's hustling.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I like that. I mean, I also think for me, probably like a Magic Mike show.
Ooh, the dancers?
Yeah. I think that they're like top tier.
They're
classy.
definitely attracted to women too.
Oh yeah, they like and they love them, respect them. They definitely don't do dollar whips.
No. Oh my god.
Never.
No, fuck no. No way. They have no mommy issues at all.
Not at all.
I would say for me it would be like in the chat room of a live streamer on Twitch.
Ooh, yeah. I was kind of thinking Club Penguin, but what
was the name of the club in Club Penguin? Like the dance club, remember that you would go?
Oh yeah,
and you'd like chat with people, and like people would like type like boobs, but with like the numbers instead of the things, because you get kicked out if you did. Yeah. I learned a lot of cuss words on Club Penguin.
I learned a lot. My parents that and like Webkins.
Bro,
Webkins taught me some things.
Yeah, the Club Penguin more so though, because Club Penguin was like.
Do you think that's where like the whole like furry generation started? Webkins and Club Penguin. Maybe.
I feel like the furry generation was like slightly before us. I feel like furries are a little bit older.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
I don't know, but then there's like the kids who wore like tails to school, and it's like, is that a hybrid? A half and half.
A half and half.
Or like the little ears with like the paws on their hands. And they'd run through the hall.
And then they had like the smallest backpacks that were like black with like whiskers.
Yeah, and a collar.
Or the ones that had the fucking turtle backpacks.
Oh, I feel like those give me leash kid vibes.
Facts. Where else would I like to find men in the finest of places.
Yeah.
And
Oh, the guy who's like works at Foot Locker and is getting you your shoe size.
Yeah.
That and like I definitely want to have no socks on that day.
Yeah, like you wore like your smelliest shoes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like hot.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely like screaming sex.
Yes.
That's screaming like put a baby in me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like those
Maybe
pheromones. You
running into somebody in the STD
I was like abortion
test
clinics
section of like a pharmacy or something.
Yeah, like
that.
something about like that. It has like Planned Parenthood.
Oh, an
type
abortion.
deal.
A Planned Parenthood would be a great place to meet a future
I think
husband.
so. I really think that it
At least
shows,
you know that you guys are on the same page.
I mean,
With,
yeah.
with your bodily autonomy rights.
Possibly.
Unless they were outside protesting.
That's what I was talking about.
Even better.
Like the fuck? What do you mean? I mean, there's just a lot of amazing places around the world to meet
so many
men.
great places
And
to
women.
meet
I mean,
men.
like to meet a significant other.
Yeah,
and I
true.
just think that our eyes aren't open.
Yeah.
And I think
honestly,
that
saying all of these options makes me realize like it's me that I'm not
the
looking
problem.
hard enough.
I'm the problem. Like I'm just
all of these great places.
all of my
that
eyes are
exist.
closed. I apparently every time that I go to these places,
I can't see, I'm blind.
and I just think that I need to open my eyes up to the world
I agree.
and realize that there's more things out there than just the 4 places I frequent.
Yeah. Oh, we could also pretend to drown in a public swimming pool if the lifeguard is hot.
Only if he's hot.
Yeah.
Only if
It
he's
works
hot.
in the movies, let me
He's
tell
probably
you.
14.
Well, that's fuck.
Well,
We might be too old for that.
I mean, shit.
We could go to adults only beach club.
Now that's
Then drown in the pool.
some dicks out, some titties
oh,
out.
yeah.
Just getting whipped all left and right. Doof, doof, doof. Yeah, I think that that's it. I mean, like we're just shallow.
Yeah.
That's it. We're shallow. We're looking in the wrong places, and we need to start broadening our horizons.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think once we do that, we will be wifed up.
Yeah, I agree.
But if you are listening and you do want to wife me up, I want a 3-carat over diamond ring with a hidden halo. And I do want 2 wedding bands.
Oh.
Different cuts. I have it all planned out.
She said it and she meant it.
The other thing about this is that I'm okay with it being the sustainable option and not being a real diamond.
What is that called?
I mean, the lab made diamonds.
Oh, I thought you meant like the ones
The
that
cubic
are.
zirconium.
No, it's like almost the same as real diamond.
Well, that's like the lab made ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forget what they're actually called, but like.
I mean, I feel like that's
Moissanite.
better than having
No?
like a. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's better than having like a child slave mine it for you.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. And then also, I'm gonna offer up elopement.
Okay.
I'm not even offering up a wedding. So
Yeah.
I think that's where the 3-carat is like justifiable.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so if you are listening, that is my standard. And if you,
It's pretty low.
that's where the bar is. And some might say that I'm shallow for only wanting that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
I say you're just right.
Thank you. And with that, thank you guys for listening to another episode of Society 97. My name is Kellen Redk, and you can find me at Kellen Redk on Instagram.
And I'm Emily Starnes. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Starnsy. Don't forget to follow the podcast on Instagram as well. We're at Society97.pod on the gram. We're also on TikTok at Society97pod, where we post hilarious clips from the show. Interact with that shit because it's flopping really bad right now, and it's making my motivation really low. So
Also, we
like
have a
it.
YouTube channel, which is Society 97, where we post vlogs
Yes.
every single Tuesday and the video version of the podcast every single Friday. So make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. We love you guys. Okay, bye.
bye.